excited to see every last one of you there and that bump in the road. My name is Paul Salfen. I'm going to be moderating the panel today, and I'm so excited about this one. I've loved this movie since we first saw it previewed at Fantastic Fest in Austin, and have enjoyed every little bit along the way. And you're in for a treat today. This one's going to be fun, it's going to be funny, and I hope you guys are going to go get that photo out later in the full. Yeah, if you don't know, Kane Hodder will be dressed as Victor Crowley. They're doing a great photo op. So now, let's bring up the mad genius first that brought us this great franchise. The one, the only, Adam Green. Yes, there he is. All right, you know her, you love her. She's been in so many great things. Convention favorite, the one and only Danielle Harris. Victor Crowley, so gruesome. Robert Bendergraft, everybody. There he is. You ready to see Victor Crowley in costume? It's the man that's going to do it.
He's also the guy who did everything you just saw. That was basically the demo reel for Robert.
That's right. Yeah. And now, the one and only Victor Crowley himself, Kane Hodder. Over here. Come on in. All right, one more round of applause. All right. Well, we're so excited to have you guys all here today because we love this movie, and obviously the fans love you guys back. And so, what a joy to just see the progression and everything that's happened, and to see so much love on here. And Adam, when you started this, did you have any indication that it was going to be like this? Because I met you before this came out, and I don't think you knew exactly what was coming, right?
No, because when the script went around, literally every place passed on it, and the reasons were always. Remember, this was like 2004 when the script went around, so the response was always, slashers are dead, nobody wants these things anymore, and then it was always, if it's going to be this graphically violent, it can't be this funny, like you gotta go more. And I was always like, no, but this is what we want right now. And so the kind of famous story now was one major studio that passed on it, who complimented the writing but passed on it. I never say which studio because I want to work for Universal at some point. The response was, the writing is great, but this will never get made because it's not a remake, it's not a sequel, and it's not based on a Japanese one. So remember 2004, it was like J-horror, torture porn, and remakes. And so when we did Fantastic Fest and Tribeca, the tagline on the poster was, it's not a remake, it's not a sequel, and it's not based on a Japanese one. So they were not happy that I made fun of their past, but that was exactly why people got excited about it. So I had an idea for 3 of them when we started, but I didn't know if it would ever really happen. And then purposely showing stuff in the first one that we held back. Like you can see the chainsaw he's going to use in 2 behind Mary Beth in the shed in the first one. And even the fact that Victor Crowley's parents, his mother's black and his father's white, like when John Beekler was designing the look, and I'm like, well, I want his hair to look like this, and like John knew, I think Kane knew and I knew, but nobody else knew that yet. So the fact that we got to make not just 3, but 4 of them now is just incredible, and seeing people cosplaying as him, 3 action figures, Halloween masks, it's just like, for everybody out there, any filmmakers out there, be proud, put your hands up, it's okay, you don't need, I hope this happens for everyone, because you guys did this. It's not like anything I did so special or whatever, it's just the fact that the fans rallied behind this, I will never stop being great. So thank you.
time, you must have thought, oh, this is good. This is going to be fun. That's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extensive makeup. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, seems like I can. And when Adam first talked about it, he said, you know, got this character, so he and I worked together and kind of developing how the character is going to move and different minor personality traits. And he goes, yeah, we're going to do, I hope we're going to do 4 of these. Well, 3 at the time. I said, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. I've heard that before. Everybody thinks their franchise will be the next one, so I thought, okay, you know, it'd be great. But for him to leave, to abruptly end each movie, actually, until Victor Crowley, with an abrupt ending and then pick up the next movie from that moment, I thought was genius and very confident, because what happens if you don't get a second chance or a third chance? So I just was very impressed with the diligence and the creativity that Adam had. So with Adam, Robert, and myself, we, well, not really me, but as far as designing the makeup, but I just asked for a couple different things, and the makeup is scary as hell, I think. And I wouldn't want to face that fucking guy. But the first time we put it on, it just, you know, I worked with it in the mirror like how we did with the Jason stuff, and it just really seemed terrifying. So I was very happy.
Absolutely. And Robert putting this together, it was not easy at all. It's so cool for all of us. How long did this take to not only put together, but then to put it on?
It took months to get everything put together and stuff, between live casting Kane and getting sculptures done and everything like that. Putting it on him. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh. Putting it on Kane, though, the first couple of movies, it took forever. It was like, what, 3.5, 4 hours on some of these
3.5,
cases. And by the time we got to Hatchet 3, silicone started coming into the picture, and started figuring out that let's just use silicone. Let's try this. Let's try a different way of doing this. And make full face masks, full silicone chest. And our application ended up getting down to the point where it was like 35 minutes to get the application on you, and then like less than 10 minutes to get it off by the end of Hatchet 4. So, you know, we've come a long way with the technology as far as like the appliances and everything like that. But, you know, the primary thing that we was going to focus on was we want to make Kane comfortable in this. He has to wear all this stuff. And the change off from the foam is that the foam was very lightweight. And then the silicone, you're wearing like 50 pounds of silicone on Kane. And then he has to go and do all this action and do all these kills and everything. And it's going to be taxing on him. So it's like, it's got to be a trade-off there. So as opposed to sitting in a chair for hours and hours, now you're not in the chair as long, but it's just heavy as hell.
Yeah. And Danielle, you've been a part of franchises that we love and a lot of great movies, but what is it about this one that's so special and that you hear from the fans all the time?
They just love Victor, man.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Victor. I mean, it's just a special movie, and I think a lot of the fans are 80s babies or of 80s horror. I mean, I feel like, having been in both generations of Halloween, I've gone to see the OG and the new, and this has kind of brought me back to my roots, essentially. And for me, also, it was the first film I'd done that I was the lead in horror since I did Halloween 4, really. Thanks to Adam, brought me back as badass Mary Beth. I mean, they cast me in the original.
I knew it would end up going
Always.
Yeah, why is that, Adam?
Okay, so this is what happened.
I mean, I literally auditioned. Like, I got a call, I got the script, I went into the room, and he sat in there, and nice to meet you, and I read like fucking 12 pages, too. A lot of pages.
It was an obscene amount of pages. And she killed it. She was great. But that was the last character that we were casting. And not just me, but the producers were getting worried. There were so many horror celebrities in it that people were going to think it's like a spoof of slashers, especially because like the characters are not the killing or Victor, but the characters are funny. So we went with an unknown. And then what ended up happening is that when it came time to do the sequel, it's not really Tamara's fault. Like, we're still friends, everything's fine. But she had just a terrible agent who was like, Michael, I don't remember the number, it was like, she wants $1 million. But the budget is $800,000. And you're being ridiculous. No one knows who this girl is other than this movie. And he's like, well, you can't make more without her. And I was like, fucking watch me.
And then he called me.
And I called him because I'm like, but wait, there's more. Because I'm like, if we're gonna recast her, we have to go like up. Like, it's gotta be something where fans will be like, oh, fuck yeah. And so I had to call Danielle and I explained everything and she's just listening. And then before she says anything, she said, okay, admit you were wrong.
Should have cast him the first time. Wouldn't have this problem, and I would have worked for scale. That's the thing.
I was wrong.
I mean, it's a big family, guys. You know, we're friends, and you have to be to make movies like this. I mean, to be covered in as much blood as they have covered me in, and tortured me in the way he has, and everybody up here has, it has to be. You have to do it because you love it. And everybody that makes these movies love horror movies.
She's tougher than all the men that you've ever seen in any of these movies. They will complain or yell.
I am way less high maintenance than you are. And I'm being serious. See, and they're like, no one wants to say anything, but everyone's like,
I'm not gonna say it. My table's like right next to his.
no. He doesn't mess with me. Kane's never fucked with me.
Oh shit.
No, he hasn't. Oh, well, that's not true. He has. He's done the fart spray, but it only took me two years to figure that out. But that was him.
It's this series has also been like a springboard for so many other things, like in like the Aeroscope world. Like the fact that these guys were all in Holliston, and we're gonna close with something from that. But like to get to see them do comedy and then like and just make fun of themselves so much, or just play such horrible versions of themselves that they're not like in real. I mean, Danielle, if you've seen the show, using me for Vicodin, teeth pulled and stuff, and it's something that we're gonna show is literally one of the funniest days I've ever had on a set because it was so ridiculous. And just as like the fanboy in me could not believe it was actually happening. Well, we'll get to that, but.
Have you guys seen what scene's talking about?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen it?
If you haven't, definitely stick around.
Who hasn't seen it? Oh, there's a lot of you. Okay, I'm not gonna give it away.
Hiding in the
But
corner.
we have some Holliston fans here, right? All right, I'd love to open it up to the main questions because you guys always have the best questions. We have a microphone right in the middle, so we'll call on you. So first of all, I gotta point out Jason is staring at me.
I know.
This happens a lot.
He's been doing it all day.
All right. Wow, it's a brave group. I love this. And just speak into the mic if you can, and let's go.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to direct this question towards Adam, but it really is for everyone. It was interesting to me how you said that one of the problems you had getting Hatchet financed or greenlit was that they were telling you, if it's this gory, it can't be this funny, you know, that kind of shit. And here's what's weird to me about it, is that I almost find that because the Hatchet series is so funny and is so humorous and entertaining, that it's almost like it gets to get away with that amount of just horrific gore and decimation and everything of its people in the films. It's almost like, you know, it's like, oh, I know it's horrible, but look how fun everyone's having. Look how much fun everyone's having. You know, it's everything. So, I don't know, do you think that, once again for everybody, do you think that comedy offsets like the violence in a way, or does it almost enhance it? Does it almost enhance the violence because it's funny, you're laughing, you're having fun, and then it's just like, oh shit, this guy just got chainsawed in half and we saw everything fall out. You know, so that's my question. It's like,
I think, so two things. The people who passed had a point. Because horror comedy is really hard to market because most people don't know what to, like, how do you make a trailer? If you remember the trailer, the original Hatchet, there was no sign of comedy at all. So a lot of people were sort of put off when they saw it, because for the first like 30 minutes, they're like, why the fuck is this funny? Which I always think, like, who hates laughter that much? Like, why is this enjoyable? Look at you enjoying things. But it is hard to market. And for every success you can think of, like Shaun of the Dead or American Werewolf in London. American Werewolf in London was my biggest inspiration for this. Everyone always thinks the 80s slashers. It wasn't. It was actually American Werewolf and Frightmare. Because those are movies that took tropes that were so beaten to death, werewolf movies, vampire movies, and then just made them massively entertaining by having fun, funny characters that you actually liked. And I was like, well, what if someone did that with an 80s slasher? So, anyway, but I do think that the comedy should have cut us some slack with the MPAA, because there's nothing mean-spirited in these movies. There's two mean-spirited moments in the whole series that I have a problem with, which I'll get to. But it's not. There's no like I'm not into rape. I don't want to see animal violence. I don't. Like no one even like really does drugs or anything. I don't think anyone smokes a cigarette in the first movie, and yet the MPAA came down on it so hard and gave us an NC-17, which means pornographic. I'm like, are you serious? And meanwhile, like you're seeing, I don't want to name names because all these movies deserve to exist and I like them all. But the Saw series, Hostel, the Hills Have Eyes remake, which had just come out.
It's brutal.
Like, if you remember, they bite the head off the family parakeet, drink the blood while they rape the mother, and there's kids in there, right? It was brutal, and no one in that theater was smiling or laughing. And I'm like, I just want to make it fun again. That's it. And they were so hard on us. I mean, the two got pulled from all theaters. But the two moments I'm talking about, there's a moment in 3 when Deputy Schneiderman gets kind of like slowly killed, like both of his arms slowly ripped off and then drowned in the mud. I was never happy about that. It just didn't feel, it just felt out of place to me. And then one that I didn't realize until like the 7th night of the tour was in 4, Tiffany Shepard's character drowning.
Yeah.
After being revealed she was pregnant. So if you can't tell by the opening of that movie, that was my divorce movie. Like, 2 characters literally like, we're gonna live happily ever after forever, and then they both get fucking massacred. I even cut off her ring on her finger, and when Joe Lynch read it, he's like, dude, you're working out some shit. But her drowning after being revealed that she was pregnant, and every night the audience was silent. There were nights where you could hear people crying, and I'm like, it's a Hatchet with what? I didn't realize till seeing it with an audience what I was working out, because in that time period, all I ever wanted was to have children. Like that was my main goal, like, more than being a filmmaker, more than anything. And I felt like that ship sailed and I'm never gonna have this, and that's why every relationship in that movie is a couple coming apart or trying to get together and being ripped apart. But that one was just brutal, and I'm not saying like I'm sorry for it, but it does hurt to watch that. And I don't know, stay tuned, because maybe someday I will, kids, you never.
Welcome. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Last year, I met Danielle at a different con, and we got to speak for a little while, and I asked her about Victor Crowley 2 and Victor Crowley 3, because I had read on the internet that Victor Crowley, before the film, was supposed to be the start of a second trilogy. And as we all know, we can believe everything we read on the internet.
Yeah, of course.
So she said, well, we're all game to do it. We all want to do it. We're not getting any younger. But you'll have to ask Adam. So Adam, since you're here, I think I can speak for everybody here that I don't think our life will be complete until we see the trilogy finished. So Victor Crowley 2, Victor Crowley 3?
Robert?
What? I swear to God, every time this guy has a Hatchet script and shit like that, it's a fucking nightmare for me. I have to sit there and bury it. Oh my God. We talk about a lot of Hatchet stuff all the time, and we want to make another Hatchet movie, and we're geared to make another Hatchet movie, but for whatever reason, when financing and all the stuff that's above my pay level comes through, until then, we're just gonna sit here in a thought process on it and keep thinking about really cool kills. But the good thing is that the more that we sit there and think about it, the better stuff that we think about, so.
I think had the pandemic not happened and then the writer's strike, the SAG strike, like it's been 4 really weird years. We probably would have done another one by now, but like I have to go do other stuff in between, and then the fact that all of us do other stuff and then come back for this, there's no like huge rush really, but I hear you, I know you guys want more. There's plenty of places I call, like pretty frequently, being like, what's going on with this? So you're interested in doing another. And if it's the right thing, I think the pieces will all fall into place. I think it will happen, but that's all I can say right now. But also remember, even if it was already shot, I wouldn't tell you. So I'll never be able to keep it secret. Again, like the 4th one, I still have no idea how we pulled that off to surprise everybody that way. But I get it, the filmmakers who like to always say, I'm working on this, I'm working on that. But it's such a weird business and you don't know if it's really gonna happen. So I would rather just wait and let people think I'm not doing something and then all of a sudden be like, here's something new. So, because also, don't you feel like you get teased with stuff like a year in advance? And then there's a teaser trailer, then there's a teaser to the trailer, then there's the trailer, then there's all these stills, then there's clip, just give us the fucking thing. So, it's not always up to me, but if it was, I would just always wait until it's ready and then announce it.
So to quote Tim Carey from Dumb and Dumber, so you're saying there's a chance.
I am saying there's a chance.
And I'm probably not supposed to say, but Danielle is insisting a certain storyline happen in the next Hatchet film, and I kind of agree with it, but she feels like Victor finally gets laid. I appreciate that. Or yes, but
She asked for
Usually Adam's the one that writes the sex scenes for me and him, not me and you.
the sex scenes,
Love it. Hey, in case the powers that be are listening, can we please get a round of applause for those that want to see more Hatchet, more Victor Crowley? Go ahead, introduce yourself, guys, before you ask a question.
My name's Destiny. I've been watching all the Hatchet movies one time and then watched them all again. But I just wanted to know, what was you guys' favorite part of like filming all of this? Like all of the Hatchet movies?
well, I mean, what? You stick
I know what
it.
There could be multiple
Danielle's least
answers.
favorite part was. I'll wait till she answers.
For me, and it's something I haven't talked about a whole lot, but it's very difficult to work in that makeup. It gets exhausting. By the time it's time to be violent, it's pretty easy to bring forth. And what I enjoy the most is fucking with the other actors. Especially ones that haven't been in any of the films before. Because like Danielle and Perry Shannon, they all know my methods. But I like to do stuff, and I did it with Melissa in particular on Victor Crowley. No, not that. But I know that if I go off by myself while I'm in the makeup and kind of prepare for a scene, they often think I don't know they're watching me. But I do know, so I do some crazy shit for them to say, what the fuck is wrong with this? He's about to do something violent to me, and he's over there punching a tree. And so I just do it for my own entertainment. Maybe it helps their performance too, I don't know, but because it's not easy to have fun in that costume. And I do like to kind of maintain the image of the character, not sit around talking to all the other actors in between shots and stuff. So.
I think there's like, it's not fun in the way you would think it's fun, because the more fun it looks and the more excited I am to see the best kills are usually the ones that were so fucking miserable to do. but you're still having fun, or they're having fun. I mean, I know, you know, there's 2 scenes I can think of for me that were like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this. Well, there's actually more than that now that I think about it. For me, it was definitely the beginning of 3, the end of 2, and they were on the side of, I don't know what, but you guys just had those pump tanks, whatever they are, and filled, like, they look like fire extinguishers.
They technically are fire extinguishers,
Oh,
just
shit.
filled with air.
You think we have the budget for what they use in real movies?
Oh my God. So they had those filled with blood for the opening of that, and they were, and I remember the camera was down low and I was standing above it, and you were on either side, and it was just like ready, set, go, and they just unloaded the amount of blood. I couldn't, I mean, I thought I was gonna die. Like I couldn't breathe, choking, it's coming out of my eyes, my nose, my ears, everything. So that was awesome to see, but when you watch it, you're like, oh, never again. Well, I let them do that. And then the other was the tree. It was handcuffed to the tree with the stump in my body, and I got chiggers all over my butt from laying on the ground in real life because they ate through my sweatpants because I was handcuffed, holding an urn with a tree stump on the side, and that tree had been sprayed down with poison for ants before they decided to stick me on it, and then I fell off. I was supposed to have a little drop, and then I ended up falling a little bit further because the tree stump was kind of came down at an angle. So then I was actually bleeding and had chiggers and all kinds of lovely things. So it's so fun to watch, but you know, anyone that's coming to the bloody photo op with me later, every time I put blood on someone, they're like, oh God, that feels weird, that's cold. And I'm like, imagine being in that all day every day. And having to do horrible, you know, murder scenes and run and scream. And also film in Louisiana where there are a lot of big, giant mosquitoes. So you're covered in something that's full of sugar, and you're right next to the water, and it's night, and you're lit. So you're like a giant glowing lollipop for all of the mosquitoes. And Tiki drove himself to the emergency room because he had deep poisoning.
Well,
Last night, right?
yeah, what's funny is someone went to urgent care every single night of Hatchet 3. It was warfare. Because the other ones are not shot in a real swamp. They're in like a parking lot and a ranch in California. But what was funny was when the first one came out, then the second one, and I didn't know better yet, so the world premiere in London, I was so excited and proud of the crew to tell everyone, this one was all shot on a soundstage. And then every review was, you can tell it's shot on a soundstage. It's not like the first one that was in a real swamp. The first one was in a fucking parking lot. If you look closely, when the actors are running, you can see the pots, the plants are, because they're all like fake. But, so now I know, don't say it until years later.
Then when we went to the second one on the soundstage, you had live plants in the swamp, and then something happened, right?
Yes, so we built a real swamp, as if I did it. I can't even get a fucking shelf. The crew built like a real swamp. There were real trees, real plants. And after a few weeks, it starts to grow its own ecosystem. And then on day 1, somebody came in with the swine flu. And we're all on a stage. And you're gonna hear more about the story soon, because there's a new Steelbook set coming out from Dark Sky, July 25th, I think, something like that. It's very soon. I did 2 new hours of special features, mainly about the first one, but you're going to hear all the funny stories that couldn't be told, and it's great. But this dude came in on the crew and was very clearly, audibly sick in the bathroom. So another crew member came up to Will, the DP, and said, that dude needs to go home immediately because he's definitely sick. And then the guy insisted he wasn't. The whole crew got the swine flu, took out everybody. And I was directing and Will was shooting with a bucket between us to throw up in between takes. And that was supposed to be the victory lap. We're doing a sequel, everybody. Awful. But to go back to Danielle's story, also there's a great story about chiggers getting in someone's asshole. That you will never forget. But the night that she was on that tree in 3, I mean, it was misery. But I just remember thinking, like, thank God it's her. Not because, now I have another thing to apologize for, but because she is so professional. All these guys are. But like, have you seen Among Friends, the movie she directed? There's a scene in that movie where the camera goes like out of somebody's head. It's one of the best directed moments I've seen. But like, she knows how these things get made. She knows exactly what's happening, so she won't complain. Like, she'll say something if something's wrong or whatever. But like, nobody else would have been able to do that without panicking, like just being miserable, asking to stop, and like, I can't even, again, like, not just because she's sitting here, but I can't get over how strong this woman is. It's incredible, and I will never be that strong. So, thank you.
Not true.
Just so you guys really got 5 minutes until we're running the clip, so we'll do speed rounds. Again, try and get everybody in.
Hi, my name is Brent. Adam, we had a conversation yesterday. Brought home Holliston, watched Holliston, showed my wife the first 2 episodes. And then I heard you sing a song on the 2nd episode that I forgot about that was my favorite part of Hatchet 2, about the chicken and biscuits. Can you explain to me why? Because it seems like there's a background to it. Because you sang it in the Holliston episode, and then one of my favorite parts of Hatchet 2 was the guy on the boat singing the chicken and biscuit song.
Okay, so Colton Dunn, who played Vernon in Hatchet 2, we actually met playing Xbox together. I didn't even know what he looked like when I cast him, and I just knew he was a really funny guy. And he's one of those people who can be funny without ever being like blue or swearing. Like, he's just so naturally funny. And so when we were on 2, we took the cast out into a real swamp for 1 day just to get the shots of everyone on the boat. And he was supposed to be singing the song "This Land Is Your Land," and then, of course, us being us, someone goes, "Do we have clearance for that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's public domain by now, right?" And no one knew, so everyone's on their phone, can't get a signal. So I'm like, "Colton, just improv something." Now, there's very little, almost no improvisation in the Hatchet series, and that one moment I did not write, and that's everyone's favorite joke in the whole thing. So it kills me, but I always want to tell people that was all him. That was not me. But that became, people did like remixes of it and rap songs of it, and like still we get sent stuff. And so in Holliston, I'm like, I'm just gonna be singing that, I guess. That was all cool.
Let's hear a little.
Yeah, sing it.
I mean, it's chicken and biscuits and gravy and chicken with the biscuits. I thought you were gonna talk about the picking out a movie. Not sure which one.
Yeah,
I get that one a lot.
That too. Yeah.
I made up that one.
Hey, I need some bitch. I was just wondering, how intentional was it in the beginning to kill other horror movie actors like Robert, Derek Mears, Tony Todd? Was that the plan from the very beginning, or did you have to fight to get those people in the movies so Kane could show he's the best and kill them?
After the first one, when we realized, man, he's now killed Freddy, he's going to kill Candyman, and the next one he's killed the Blair Witch Kid, he's going after Jamie Wood, like, holy shit. And then it just became like fun. And like the best part about doing conventions is the other people appearing will come up to me and be like, "Dude, you gotta put me in one of these." And then I'm like, oh, okay. But the most unexpected one was that we knew we were gonna get the Angela from Sleepaway Camp and Live for one, but then Tyler Mane, because he dies at the very beginning, like out of nowhere, he just shows up and immediately just gets taken out. But we hadn't killed the Michael Myers yet. So I am going to run out of icons to kill eventually, but it is really fun knowing, and that they're also game to do it and be part of this, which just means so much. I think Tyler was like at home, he lived nearby, where he was like, yeah, I'll come do this or whatever. Like, it just, especially the people who play the scary killers, they're the nicest people in real life. Maybe it's because they get to get that shit out. But yeah, I mean, who else would you guys like to see killed?
All the Impractical Jokers.
Pinhead.
I can't, okay.
Doesn't have to be.
Jimmy Bradley on
just
speed
be
dial.
Doug. Twist his bald head off his body.
Kane had his way, he'd make my job really easy, wouldn't he?
What's up? I'm Kane. My stupid question is, if you could do a crossover with Victor Crowley and anybody else, who would you pick?
I mean, I know the answer, but I'm afraid to say it because I want people to be like, oh, that's coming, because there's been no discussion of it. But there's really only one other modern slasher that's really catching on, and it's Arthur Clown. So I warned them to stop, but if they keep going, Victor Crowley's going to have to take that fucking clown out. How fucking great is the Terrifier series, though?
Thank you. All right, we'll see if we can speed this through.
Okay, this is a rapid fire one. Hatchet series obviously has heaps of icons. Who has been your favorite icon of horror to work with? And you can't say each other.
I'll go first on this one.
Okay, good.
I honestly don't have a favorite because everyone's a pain in the ass to me.
I'm going to say Tony Todd because, so Tony gets really into his scripts, his notes all over and stuff and all these ideas. And he also, at least back then, wasn't much of a sleeper, and neither am I. So he called me like the middle of the night and he's like, I can't do the voice, does Reverend Zombie have magical powers? And I go, no, Tony, he's like a Charlotte movie. He doesn't have magical powers. And then he goes, can he think he has magical powers? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Also, speaking of ad-libs, we shot because we couldn't afford to bring Tony the actors to New Orleans for the first one, for the bit when they're in the French Quarter, which is the only reason I played one of the friends who was a reoccurring thing. But we had to shoot Tony stuff first, and we had to shoot it in the woods. So a location scout in New Orleans took a photo of the front of the voodoo shop, sent us the photo, and then they built just the doorway in the woods. So there's literally nothing behind him in the first one. It's a black curtain, and they're just standing. You could see an inch either way. It's just trees. And so there was a bird right above him that wouldn't shut up. And so I'm like, just comment about the birds. So at the end of the scene, he goes, I've got to tend to the birds. So when we did the sequel, and we were going to go in the shop, we're like, how many fucking birds? We wasted so much money on bird cages and shit. Like, you had to say it was inside to do. And when we got to New Orleans to shoot Joel David Moore and Dionne Richmond walking up and knocking, you'll notice in the wide shot you never see the voodoo shop, only when it's over their shoulders. Because the location scout took a photo of the business next door. So they built the wrong door. So if you ever go to Reverend Zombie's Voodoo Shop, which is a real place in New Orleans, you'll notice it doesn't look anything like outside. Because one guy took a photo, he's just like, oh, my bad. You're bad.
Sell it.
All right, we have a minute left.
I'll answer your question real quick. Brad Dourif for me. What's your favorite horror icon that you've worked with and can't be one of us?
Probably Tony.
Tony.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun killing all of those people, but RA is a good longtime friend. It was good to kill Derek because he's more current than me with the hockey mask on, so I wanted to get rid of him. And, you know, but we're all friends already, so it just makes it fun when you go onto the set.
Really quick before we wrap up, so we're doing the first ever Victor Crowley photo walk, first time ever, later today. And then Robert, I just want to make sure people see this. So this is Robert's like first convention. He made these, that's the original John Biegler sculpt of Victor Crowley. Each one took you how long to make? Because there's only, what, like 6 of them?
It took a while.
Yeah, he has those at his table, so go say hello. And then before we end, just wanted to end with some laughter. The scene we're about to show is one of the funniest days I've ever had on a set. It's always fun when you get to work with your friends, but to do something this ridiculous is from season 2 of Holliston. So if you've never seen it before, enjoy. And then lastly, I keep saying this, because one of the best things about what we do is we get to travel all over the place, meeting people, doing these conventions. And like, you are the only reason to keep doing this, is is when you get to stand in front of people and shake their hand and meet the people who appreciate all that goes into this. It means so much more than you will ever know. And they keep telling us on TV we all hate each other, the country's so divided. No, we're not. We're okay, and they're still good people, so remember that, and just keep being fucking nice and keep being who you are, because you're beautiful, and we love you.
Thank you, Paul. Yes, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick group photo, so everybody just stand up real quick. We're going to turn around, and then don't go anywhere because we got that clip you got to see. Everybody squeeze in.
Get away from Robert, he makes me look small.
I'll stand up.
All right. Big round of applause, everybody. You ready for that?